All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. Going to check out its local search and its city search. See if it's got BSS for either of them. All right, so we're out here in the GBC universe again, where we bring declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, aka full spectrum intent capture. More on that, pinned video, home video on the profile, whatever. And that's because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So we got our intent spectrum here, in white, high on the left, low on the right. And if a boudoir photographer is rising, they're probably bringing in peeps from the entire intent spectrum, from high intent to low or no intent. At least bringing them in awareness, even if they're low or no intent, awareness that we exist. And if we have a boudoir photographer business that's falling, they're probably missing chunks somewhere here on the intent spectrum. So here we talk about BSS. We're way over on the left side. Highest intent peeps. This is social search and Google search. Search on social networks for boudoir photo shoot in my city. See on Google search, the highest intent keyword searches. And over on the right, that's our other sister brand, different profiles, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor. So we're talking about BLCS. Talking about BLCS, kind of a niche problem there, niche pain. And right now we currently only deal with boudoir photographers running more than 10 grand a month on boudoir Facebook ads. And, that side on the right, that's the lowest intent peeps, interruption ads, Facebook, Instagram. They have no intent for boudoir right now. Next, moving on, we got BSS, boudoir search sameness. That's what it is. That means a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. So 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. If we've got 0 slots, we're basically dead. Because we have, we've already talked about approximately 80% of Google searches never reach page 2. They're page 1 only searches. So approximately 80% of searches, aka the bulk of the market, is page 1 only. So if we're on page 2, we're basically dead. Page 1, that's if we got 1 slot on page 1, that's still not enough. If there's 9, there's 10 organic slots. If there's 1, we're 1 out of. If there's 9 other boudoir photographers, everyone else got 1 slot. Then a buyer's just clicking down all of page 1. Basically never gonna go to page 2. Open up everyone's website, gonna compare, contrast, price shop all these boudoir photographers. And as a result, we're still basically invisible because we're being price shopped so much. So we know that 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google is not normal. Common, but it's not normal. Dude, it's not normal to have those few slots on page 1, when Google actually wants to give us way more to those that want to take them. So 0 1 slots on page 1 Google is not normal is actually the symptom of 2 deeper root causes. Those 2 deeper root causes are market saturation, which basically everyone understands, but also newly, the false belief of page 1 equality, which basically nobody understands yet. So market saturation, that seems like every week someone get a new iPhone, we see them throwing up their Google My Business profile, their website. Now they say they do boudoir, they're a boudoir photographer. Or they get a new camera, they're posting in the mom groups. They also do boudoir photo shoots now. So that's market saturation. Also, COVID, tons of new peeps came into the marketplace because nobody could work. People lost their jobs. But again, everyone's got a phone with a great camera, so bringing in a ton more peeps to become boudoir photographers. Now, the false belief of page 1 equality, this is a big one. This is what I've seen is the #1 killer of boudoir photography businesses. This is where everyone, well, if everyone believes it, kind of automatically, implicitly, this is where, they're kind of like, everyone gets either 0 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And so, I had, a slot number 8 on Google. The boudoir photographer ranked above me. I got kicked down to slot 10. And, it is what it is because every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on Google. And there's basically nothing I can do about it. This is 100% incorrect. Google actually will give as many page 1 slots as possible to those who actually want the page 1 slots. And I know this because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 to 9 out of 10 slots on page 1 Google organic search in 10 days. So I know Google gives these slots out to the people that want to take them. And as a result, if people believe this page 1 equality is true, then they never kind of break out of the box and look for solutions. And, well, there were no real good solutions before, but now we got one, which you'll see that in two pictures from here. So we also know that boudoir photographer with BSS, with boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a DBP. So our microuniverse taking shape, a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness is caused by the two horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, though, we finally have a solution. We know that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S cubed methodology. And how do we know that? Because we invented it. And so it works exactly as it says. S cubed methodology, social search saturation. We saturate social search with our highest intent, highest demand keywords for highest intent buyers, what they would be searching on Google. To saturate social search, so we show up for all those. It's kind of like the backside of the Andes Mountains, all the small streams and rivers, then flow into the large Amazon River. These then eventually all flow into Google, page one Google search. But the initial upstream is ranking high, page one social search across all the four major social networks. Now, S-cubed methodology, this is the only thing that I've seen that can successfully, for boudoir photographers, it's the only thing I've seen that can successfully fight back against market saturation. Literally the only thing. And as a result, we, basically as a result, that's the only thing that gets us results relatively quickly. Because the only other thing I've seen actually successfully outcompete is market saturation having a brand. But dude, that takes like 5 years minimum, more like 10 years. So because AI's coming taking people's jobs, we ain't got 5 or 10 years anymore. We got to move ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. And S-cubed methodology is that vehicle. So, imagine we got 1 million boudoir photographers in Omaha, Nebraska. We're one of them. Everyone's got a website saying they're boudoir photographers. So everyone's ranking there. And as a result, we are competing with all these boudoir photographers for page one. So we say, you know what? Screw this. The only chance we got of competing here is cranking S-cubed methodology up to the max. And luckily, I was working with no one else in Omaha, so you could actually hire me. So we crank it up to the max, and let's say we are successfully, we're ranking the first 300 slots, page one of, search and all these social networks. Well, not even page one, dude. That's like a lot more pages than page one, but the first 300 slots, we're taking them up. And as a result, we are, there's a small rivers that flow into page one of Google. So we're taking the first 300 organic slots on Google as well. There's 10 organic slots per page. So we're literally taking the first 10 organic, the first 30 pages, all the organic slots from them. And so anytime anyone in our city search for the boudoir photographer with those high intent keywords, they are basically anywhere they look. They're basically only finding us. Now, for organic search, they could go to page 31 to essentially start finding our competitors. But dude, we already know approximately 80% of Google searches never even hit page 2. They're page 1 search only. So who the heck's hitting page 31? Basically nobody. So as a result, even though there are 999,999 other boudoir photographers and us competing against us, since we captured social search and Google search for the highest intent keywords, we're basically the only one that's being found. So whose business is the only one growing as a result? Our business. Out of all million boudoir photographers. So that's what we mean what I mean when I say this is the only thing I've discovered other than brand that can successfully compete against market saturation. Compete against and still grow the business. Now, once we treat BSS with S-cubed methodology, we have page one visibility. And boom, we get an instant bonus benefit, an initial benefit, which is for every new slot we acquire on page one, we're actually kicking a competing boudoir photographer off page one, effectively making them invisible. So this is awesome because, hey, we're getting more slots on page one. We get, more of, out of 10 attention because there's 10 slots, increasing our attention. But actually, we're decreasing the number of boudoir photographers we're competing against because we're kicking a new one off every time we rank another, we get another slot on there. That's an initial benefit initially right off the bat using S-cubed methodology. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. BSV. We have a GBC minimum here, recommended minimum of reaching 3 out of 10 slots on page one Google search, because basically everyone else will have 1 slot. So if Google's recommended us 3 times, well, buyers can be like, well, why is Google recommend this person? They must be good. They may even click to us, only us, and not even look at the other options on page one. But in addition, there's a tiny chance another boudoir photographer has 2 slots on page one. So if we got 3 slots, we're out competing everyone that has 0, 1, or 2 slots on page 1 of Google search. Now we also know that Boudoir photographer with BSV, with Boudoir search visibility, is a visible Boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our full micro universe here. A disappearing Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search sameness is caused by the two horns of market saturation and the false belief of page 1 equality. Now we use S-cubed methodology. We finally have a solution. Thank the universe. Page 1 visibility. We achieve page 1 visibility. We become a visible Boudoir photographer with Boudoir search visibility. Now my results. So myself, purely using S-cubed methodology, I'm going to rank for the term BLCS Boudoir. And come down to organic. Organic results, we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Organic slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. And slot 10 is also me. And I did this in 10 days. I went from 0 out of 10 slots, Google Organic, page 1. And I got up to 9 out of 10 slots, Google Organic, page 1, in only 10 days. So these are my own results utilizing S-cubed methodology. So main event here now. I'm going to take a look at this Boudoir photography business and see, basically see for its local search and city search, does that BSS, yes, no, for all of them, for one of them, or what? All right, so we're going to Virginia Beach. Okay, Virginia Beach, we're here. All right, boom, we got one. All right, so we got 1 out of 10 local. Let's go to city, closest, another city closest nearby. All right, so let's see. All right, we're at 0 out of 10 for city. All right, so local, we got 1 out of 10 slots, so we do a BSS. And city, we got 0 out of 10 slots, so yes, we got BSS for both. And also for both, we are not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 of Google search. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer and you've done your local search or city search for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords, and you're seeing for any of those, local or city or any of the keywords, you got BSS, or you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 Google search, and you actually you're looking at all the highest intent keywords, and you're seeing that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. You're seeing Google actually give us as many page 1 slots on Google search as we want. And you're seeing that S-cubed methodology is the only solution forward, the only solution to have enough links where there's enough flow through to Google to actually put us on page 1. And you understand the market saturation. Yeah, people get new gear, market becomes more saturated. And you're also seeing that you're looking ahead to AI. And while you like the initial benefits, S-cubed methodology, more links, page 1 Google search, more, basically more kicking other boudoir photographers off page 1. Google search is actually your favorite. You're competing with boudoir photographers. But you're looking at AI taking people's jobs right now. You know it's going to get better. So it's simply going to take more and more people's jobs into the future. And as a result, you're actually going to, a new flood of boudoir photographers going to be entering the marketplace. So you actually realize you not only need the links, dude, you actually need to fortify your position on page 1. Literally like fortifying the levees down in Nolens, Louisiana, because that city's below sea level. You gotta have so many links on page 1, so many links Google wants to rank for you on page 1 that there's not enough slots, so they relegate you to start filling up pages 2, 3, and 4 to basically guarantee no other competing boudoir photographer currently can essentially ever rank on page 1, nor any any future competing boudoir photographer who comes into the marketplace because they took their job basically ever has a chance to rank on page 1 either. So you want to prevent both those scenarios. And you're seeing again, S-cubed methodology is the only solution that can give that many links to, super fortify you. And you want to achieve page 1 visibility. You want to become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility. And you do not, and you need these things in order to become, on your path to become the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. And you're liking the future benefits of SQ methodology because you understand it well. Basically building these invisible thematic keyword columns. Having in the back end, back in cyberspace, these columns that are plugged in to the kind of this, this cloud of you, your business name, your brands, your social handles, your website, everything kind of about your business, plugging in these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of building up this back-end AI keyword mindshare that's invisible. And every day we successfully execute SQ methodology and build this up, we're actually increasing the probability we're going to show up here at the top of AI overview for search in our city. And as a result, this is the highest, the highest probability, the most premium placement, the highest tier placement we got here, and cannot pay for it. It's all organic. And SQ methodology, highest probability of giving us this. And also, that same probability recommended here, increase in probability that we show up in all the AI search apps. So, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini. We're increasing the probability we show up in all of these. And this is important because AI search is getting bigger every single day. Every single day, every single day, every single day. And standard Google search decreasing every single day. And last time I did an AI search for Boudoir photographer in a city, I used ChatGPT. It recommended me 3. I actually then went to do a manual search in that city with Google standard search and searching on Facebook. And dude, I found like 60. It's like, man, we got to find any way to get, recommended these AI searches if there's only 3 slots available. Because, that's so many eyeballs for us. And again, SQ methodology is the only strategy that is given these invisible thematic keyword columns, kind of building it up in the back end. So you're liking these feature benefits. You're also liking the feature benefit of SQ methodology can help build a large, well-known brand approximately 8x faster than all the other standard methods out there. You also understand and like that my current plan is to only work with one Boudoir photographer per city. And as a result, you're actually able to get all these benefits and kick your competitors off and prevent them from using these benefits at all. And you're basically able to kind of build up a kind of a moat, kind of a large gap with the back-end AI keyword mindshare that we're going to be doing to be recommended these AI apps higher and higher and higher probability out into the future. And building up a massive gap to where basically your competitors, the gap could be big enough where they could never catch you. So that's why you've decided to be first mover advantage in your city. Can hop on this first because you understand the converse. If one of your Boudoir photographers competitors actually signed up to use this first, then you'd be locked out of this. They'd be getting all these slots page 1 Google search, kicking you off page 1 Google search, and then it'd be relegated to page 2 or deeper. You would be building up that massive AI mindshare for them and their brand, and you'd be stuck in the dust. We're building up a massive gap, larger and larger every single day against you to be recommended AI search. And as a result, in order for you to compete, you would actually have to rederive SQ methodology on your own, which means you'd actually have to drive it first in the first place. And since you've never derived it before, you would actually have no idea if you've derived it correctly, yes or no. But then you'd have to execute equal to us every single day. And even if you did all that, well, all you've done is you're maintaining the gap that me and your competitor already have ahead of you. So to close on that gap, you'd actually have to increase your effort and do like 2 to 3x what we do every single day to close that gap. But you're not even confident you've derived the technology, the strategy correctly in the first place. So probably wouldn't even feel confident putting in that much time and effort to do all these things. And like, dude, who's even got 80 hours to do all this stuff? So you're like, yeah, you've decided, yeah, you're simply gonna be the first mover here and not wait because this is too good of an opportunity to pass up. So if that's you, shoot us a DM. Our hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, but when we do open the hospital back up again for new patient intake, shoot us a DM and we will see if you qualify to utilize our S-cubed methodology.